Hello trader, welcome to this video today. So if this is your first time that you have tuned into this channel, my name is Anthony, and here we do the top-down analysis on every Sunday and also probably on a weekday, probably on Wednesday or Thursday. In case I have an update, I always come here to give you an update, guys. If this is something you want to learn how to do the top-down analysis, or how to analyze the market structure using uh, the SMC concept, then this is the best channel that you can ever find. So kindly, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I urge you make sure you do subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you get notified immediately I upload a new video. So without wasting time, let's dive into the market and see what the market has to offer for this coming week. So we are going to start with our good friend, of course, the Euro USD. Beginning from the higher time frame, that is the daily time frame, we can see that the Euro USD is very bearish. Everyone can see that Euro is very bearish. This is after Euro USD reacted from this supply zone from the monthly time frame. Then the market pushed down to give us a change of character. After that change of character, we had a pullback which reacted from this supply zone around this area. All right. So if we pick our Fibonacci 2, we place from the high to the low, we can see that this order block or this supply zone was resting at the premium. That is where the market reacted from and then pushed down to give us a new BOS to the downside. So the same thing that we are expecting or we are anticipating to happen on this recent formed dealing range. So we have this dealing range whereby after the market reacted from this supply zone, pushed down to give us a new BOS. So if we pick our fib, we place from the high all the way to the low, we can see that this is our dealing range. There it's where we have our equilibrium. All right. So if I have to mark my point of interest, I can see that I have a very good supply zone around this area. And then we also have this extreme supply zone above there. Okay. And we have liquidity below this supply zone around this area. So since we have these 2 points of interest, and at this point of time, we have no idea which one the market is going to use. So this is where now we include the concept of taking a confirmation. All right. So since even looking at the market, we have not yet tapped to the 50% of our dealing range. Here it's where we have our 50%. So we might be expecting a Euro USD to be bullish a little bit on this week. That is to come and react to this 50% of our dealing range before we get any selling opportunity to the downside. But of course, since we trade what we see, we are not predicting the market. We are just reacting to what the market is going to do. So in case the market decide to react from this supply zone and pushes down to give us a confirmation, we will sell because that is what the market will be. Will have shown us to do. So if I have to go to the lower time frame, which of course is gonna be 1 hour time frame, if I look at the market at the 1 hour time frame, if you remember very well the analysis that we did last time, we saw that Euro USD came to react from this demand zone. We had this demand zone after the market created this break of structure to the upside. And we said until the market breaks this low, the internal structure is still bullish. And there was no reason for us to start forcing sales. That is after the market reacted from this fair value gap from the daily time frame. We have this massive fair value gap around this area. And we saw that Euro USD gave a very nice rejection. But a rejection alone is not enough, guys. I always keep on telling you guys. For those who took confirmation with the engulfing candle, I think they could have been manipulated by this candle here, and they think the market is very bearish. Okay, so we trade structure. As long as the structure does not agree with what we are seeing, then there is no trade. Okay, so seeing this rejection for me was not enough. So I wanted to see the market giving me a change of character to the downside. And if you look closely, market failed to give us that. We had a very nice rally. Then the market pushed down, came to react from this supply zone, see the demand zone, sorry, came to react from this order block or this demand zone, and then pushed up. That is on Friday. We had an NFP news. That is what brought the market to push up and then took out this eye, giving us a new break of structure to the upside. So currently, we have this structure here now. We have this break of structure, which is also confirmed from the 4 hour time frame. We have that break of structure to the upside. So probably we might see the market coming to this demand zone and have a little bit to push inside this point of interest or inside this supply zone, because this is a very massive supply zone, and they expect the market at least to come to the 50% of this zone. So we might be seeing the Euro USD coming to this demand zone, then have a little bit push into this zone, that is to react from this supply zone, also to tap to the 50% of our dealing range, and then we have that selling opportunity to take out this low, giving us a change of character. But in case the market pushes to this zone and then pushes to give us a new break of structure, then the new formed low, that will be our law that will be watching a market to come and take out to give us a change of character or to give us what we call an M formation. So until we see that, we're going to be very patient with the market. So currently we have this demand zone. We have this demand zone here, but this is not a very interesting trade to take, since now the market has already tapped to this supply zone. So we might be seeing the market coming down to take out this low. In case the market decides to sell and break this low, it will give us a change of character, which is a good thing. So what will you do? We'll be waiting for a market to come for a pullback, probably on this zone here, because if the market violates this demand zone, it's going to be our breaker block, right? So if this demand zone fails to hold the market and pushes up, then the market pushes down to break this low. Then this order block or this demand zone, which is also our flip zone, it's gonna act as our breaker block. So what will you be waiting for? We'll be anticipating for a market to come to this breaker block, give us a 15 minutes change of character, and then we take our sell all the way targeting the new formed lower low. Currently, we are very bearish on a Euro USD, that is in terms of swing, but internally, the market is very bullish. The internal structure has not yet given us a confirmation for us to sell, guys. So we need to be very patient in the market. So probably here on Wednesday, I will come with an update in case the market would have given us a very good confirmation. I will also make sure to come here on Wednesday and give you that update. But currently, we have to be very patient in the market and see what the market is going to do inside this demand zone, because currently the market is now bouncing back. We have this supply and we have this demand zone. We have no idea which the direction the market is going to go next. So we need to be very patient and wait for the market to give us a clear direction on which it wants to go before we take any selling opportunity or any buying opportunity. Right? So looking on the DXY to confirm our bias that we are seeing, you can see Euro DXY is also reacting from this flip zone here. So we have this demand zone that DXY is reacting from. So let's see whether the DXY has tapped to the 50%. Yeah, we can see the DXY, unlike the Euro USD, DXY has already traded to the 50% of our dealing range. All right. And since also in the DXY, we have no confirmation. All right, we don't have confirmation yet, and also we do have this extreme demand zone that is resting down here with the liquidity relative equal lows, relatively equal lows around this area, or some kind of trend line liquidity here. So we might be anticipating, or we might be seeing the DXY coming down at least to sweep this liquidity, maybe react from this demand zone before we get any buying opportunity. That is where we are looking for. We are anticipating for Euro USD to be a little bit bullish, right? Because of this one, for a market to come down here on DXY, at least to sweep this liquidity before we seeing any buying opportunity. Even if you go to the 1 hour, what are we seeing the 1 hour of the DXY doing? So unlike Euro USD, DXY has not yet given us a break of structure to the downside. If you remember closely, guys, the analysis that we did last time, we saw DXY coming to this area here. All right, we saw DXY coming to this area, and then I remember telling you guys that if I see a change of character here, and we saw DXY giving us a change of character, we'll be expecting this this pair to sell, right? But unfortunately, the Euro USD was not giving us a very good confirmation around that area. It was a lagging pair at that point of time, so it never gave us that confirmation for us to sell. All right. So there was nothing to sell on Euro USD, although the DXY has given us a very good confirmation here to sell. So what are we anticipating? You can see we might be seeing the DXY pushing a little bit lower, at least to give us a new break of structure to the downside. Then what are we anticipating? market to come up, react from this flip zone here because this will be our flip zone. Then we sell from that area. Okay. But as at now, we have to be very patient because the market has just swept the sell side liquidity. And you know for a fact, once the market takes out the sell side liquidity, most of the cases it goes for the buy side liquidity. So we might be seeing the DXY coming to take out this high, right? And once the DXY comes to take out this high, it means on Euro USD we'll have a change of character. Okay. If the market decides to come and take out this low here, which is this one here on the DXY, then that means Euro USD is gonna give us that change of character down here. So we'll be looking for that selling opportunity to the downside. And looking at the GBP USD, also the GBP USD is also uh, it's also giving us the same analysis that you are seeing on the DXY. Unlike Euro USD, which seems to be very leading pair at this point of time, we have seen the sweep of that eye, the same thing that we are seeing on a DXY. But in terms of structure, the last structure that was formed, it was here. This is the last break of structure. All right. So the same to the GPP, the same to the DXY. We are anticipating more buys on on GBP USD at least to come and react from this supply. We have this supply around this area. The last buy before the sell, that becomes my order block. Okay. But in case the market decides to sell from that area and comes and takes this low, because this is where we have the last break of structure. Okay. So if the market decides to sell from that area, comes and takes out this low, then we will have a change of character. So what will you do? We'll wait for a pullback and then we look for an area for us to look for a selling opportunity, targeting these low because this will be our next target of liquidity, our next target of liquidity because this is we had a break of structure, we had this internal change of character, and after the pullback, where do you expect the market to go next? We are expecting the market to come next and take out this low, giving us a new break of structure, right? Or to form a new dealing range. And then we keep on going down and take out this low, the downside. But as at now, also on GBP USD, we have nothing. We need to be very patient for a market to break either this high or this low. Okay. So moving on to the next pair, which is gonna be gold. So what are we seeing on gold? Looking at the gold, guys, this was our support zone down here. We had this support zone here. After this break of structure here from the daily time frame, we have this break of structure. Market came to react from this support zone weekly time frame. And since then, you can see the gold tried to be consolidating. Gold is consolidating or ranged here for a while before it exploded here on Wednesday. That is when we saw. And I remember very closely, guys, to telling you that you need to be very patient with the gold and wait for gold to give you a clear direction on where it wants to go. That is, we wait for a gold to break out of this range, either to the upside or to the downside, because at this point of time, we are not even sure which direction the gold is gonna go next. Okay, but the good thing on Wednesday, gold pushed up, showing us that it wants to go to the upside. All right. So, and if you remember closely, for those who have been following me for a while now, you can see very well that after the gold reacted from this support zone, we said we are not going to buy blindly. We need to see the structure agreeing that the market is really reacting from this support zone. What are we waiting for? We said since this is our last break of structure from the 4-hour time frame, right? That was the last break of structure here, which is a very strong BOS, which swept liquidity above here, meaning these are very protected high. If this market wants to buy, then it has to break this high. So once we break this high, we'll have a change of character because of this break of structure to the downside. So once we get that change of character, that is our confirmation that this pair is using this support zone, or this support zone is strong enough to push this market up. And that will be a very clear indication that this market might be uh, coming into the bullish trend, whereby we expect it to continue pushing up and take out this high. But also don't forget, looking at the 4 daily time frame, in terms of internal swing of the daily time frame, this is our last break of structure to the downside, right? We have this break of structure. And if you look at this pullback, if I place the fib from the high to the low, we can see that this pullback, this first pullback here never tapped the 50%. So it means that this pullback or this structure that was formed here, it's an internal of this daily swing. Okay, so that is something that you have to pay attention to. So this break of structure here, it's an internal of the daily. Market never came to the 50%, and you can see very clearly that you have this supply zone around this area. Okay, so if the market will close above this area, I will be anticipating to see a reaction from this zone here. All right, I will also be anticipating to see a reaction from this zone, or we also have this supply zone that is resting above there with liquidity below it. So I will also be looking for this area because these are the areas that we expect to see the market struggling to break. Even if it will break these zones, it has to give you a small reaction. And that small reaction that you can get on the daily time frame, on the lower time frame, you can really capitalize on that small sell, right? Even if the market will come back and violate the zone, we can really make some amount of money on that small reaction from there. Okay. If the market decides to come and react from this supply zone and keep selling to the downside, it is also well, guys, because also from the daily time frame, you can see that is our internal break of structure to the downside. Okay. But if the market will come up, violate this supply, come and violate this supply, and by any means the market comes to take out this I. If the market comes back and takes out this I, that will be a confirmation that the next target of the market will be this I. Nothing will prevent gold from coming to take out this I. Okay, we'll be anticipating for gold to come now and give us a new all-time high to the upside. But as at now, these are the zones that you have to watch out for. Let's watch on this 4 hour. Remember, this is what I always tell you guys. When the daily time frame wants to come for a pullback, then the 4 hour swing will give you that change of character. Okay. Since this is our daily internal swing, this is our daily internal swing, this is our 4 hour swing. If this daily swing, internal swing wants to come for a pullback, then the 4 hour swing will give us that change of character. Okay. The 4 hour swing is giving us a change of, it's not giving us a change of character, meaning that the, or in short, sorry, the 4 hour swing, after it gives us a change of character, it does not mean the trend of the market has shifted. No. That is to facilitate the objective of the daily. What is the objective of the daily? Market to come for a pullback, and then we continue going down to the downside or going up, depending on the trend of the market. So that is something we have to pay a very good attention to. All right. So these are zones that I will be having high zone, but currently, since this is where the market is very close to, I will have this supply zone. But in case is that now, since we are reacting at this supply zone, market is sitting at this supply zone here. All right. If I try to zoom in, we can see we have a very good order block here. The last is buy before the sell with a very tiny fair value gap around this area. So last time we did analysis, since the gold was showing reaction from this supply zone here, I told you, and I always repeat this thing here, guys. Always consider waiting for a confirmation. Okay. So, do you see how the market manipulates people? If you remember very closely, we had this one as our last break of structure. Okay. And I told you guys, I will not be looking for selling opportunity until the market closes below this low. And the market never closed. For those who use week as a break of structure or a week as a change of character, then they got trapped here. All right. Since I saw the gold giving us this rejection, market came to sweep this low and gave a rejection. That was not enough. I wanted to see market closing below to give me a change of character. But unfortunately, gold never gave us that change of character. So instead, swept this low and then decided to push up to give us a new break of structure. So it means that at this point of time, we are very bullish and these are very strong break of structure. So if I want to sell on gold, then it has to go down again and take out this low. All right. This will be my confirmation. Since we have closed above this supply, I'm going to remove that and then we focus on this one. All right. So at this point of time, if we want to sell anything on gold, wait for this low to be taken out. right? Until you see the candle closing below this low, don't take any sell on gold, all right? Unless you want to trade a pullback from this area, because currently we have this one as our internal break of structure from the 4-hour time, from the 1-hour time frame, right? So in case maybe you want to trade a counter trend, maybe to the 50% of this dealing range, of which is a very risky trade. You want to take a counter trend. We also have this supply zone here, which we also this demand zone, which is sitting at the discount zone, right? Which is also our flip zone, because this is an order block that led to this break of structure. So it's a very powerful order block. Unless you want to trade a counter trend around this area, just to trade this pullback, targeting this supply zone, then you should not be taking any swing sell as at this point, because gold can come to this demand zone and then you continue going up. All right. Okay, so that is my view on gold. I also don't know what you think about this. Let me know in the comment section. Let's meet on the comment section. What is your bias on gold? What are you watching on gold? Okay. So moving on to the next pair, which is gonna be BTC. Let's look at the BTC, guys. So looking at the BTC from the higher time frame, right? In terms of, let's go to the daily. Looking at the BTC from the daily time frame, what are we seeing? In terms of the daily swing, this is where we had a last break of structure. All right. So this is an internal, this structure that we are seeing here is an internal of the daily swing. All right. So for our swing structure, it is coming from all the way from that high all the way to this low. Okay. So remember, guys, if you remember very closely what we normally do and what I normally repeat here every time, is that if the daily swing wants to come for a pullback, then the 4-hour swing will give us a change of character. For this case, are we seeing any change of character yet? Because this that we are calling the internal of the 4-hour time frame, of the daily time frame, it will be the swing of our 4-hour. Let's go to the 4-hour. If you look at the 4-hour time frame, you can see very clearly. Let me try to zoom. This that seems to be very internal, or this structure that was internal on the daily, when you come to the 4-hour time frame, it becomes a swing. So if this market wants to come for a pullback of the daily swing, then the 4-hour swing will have to give us a change of character. We see DXY, BTC USD or Bitcoin never closed above this area. Okay, we never closed above that area. We came or swept some liquidity above here and try to give us a sell or selling opportunity. But at this point of time, the DXY BTC never gave us that change of character. All right, because if you try to look at this perspective from internal structure, you can see that this is our last break of structure to the upside. All right, and if I put a line below here, we can see that we never closed below that area. All right, this is just a sweep of liquidity. We never closed below that low. It means that we don't have a change of character. So the internal is showing us a bullish trend. Okay, so now, but when you look at this, since this is our internal break of structure to the upside, but as the market give us an internal change of character of this dealing range, because at this point of time, because for me, I trade what I see. I trade structure, right? At this point of time, in terms of internal, that is my dealing range. We have this high, we have this low. The market came to this demand zone down here, but has it shown us a change of character for us to sell? The internal of this dealing range is still bearish, guys, because this is the last internal break of structure to the downside. After it has swept this fractal high here, all right? Currently, we are sitting inside this supply zone here. Until the market violate this supply zone, I will still be looking for selling opportunity. I will be looking for selling opportunity because I'm seeing the internal break of structure here, although the market failed to break that low. All right, market failed to break this low, instead came to sweep liquidity, and you see it has really failed to break this low 3 times. We have first attempt, second attempt, third attempt. So there is high chances that the market might be coming to take out this high, since we are seeing our buyers are really protecting this low. We had the first attempt for the sellers to break, failed. Second attempt, sellers failed. Third attempt, sellers failed. So there is a high chances that the market will violate this supply zone. But until the structure tells us that, we are going to trade what you see, right? Since the market is sitting inside this supply zone, what am I going to do? I'm going to go to the lower time frame and watch the market from the lower time frame. Okay. And also this buy, you can see it failed to break this high because this is a very strong high at this point of time. Okay. So what are we waiting for? If BTC wants to sell from this supply zone, if the BTC wants to sell from this supply zone, then I'm anticipating or I'm expecting it to close below here. If we close below this low, guys, that will be a confirmation to look for selling opportunity. So I have an alert from this zone here. Once we break that low, that will be a confirmation that Bitcoin will be coming to take out this low and we continue selling to the downside, okay, to give us a new internal break of structure. But at this point, this is our break of structure. And you also can see we have a demand zone down here. So Bitcoin, there are two scenarios that can happen here. Bitcoin can come to this demand zone and then buy from there, or Bitcoin can come to this supply or this demand, sorry, and then violate it, pushes down to give us a change of character here. Once you have that change of character, a candle closes below here. That will be a confirmation that you have a change of character and the market is respecting this structure here. And by the use of your highs, guys, if you try to compare this sell with this buy, we can see that the buyers are really showing some weak movement to the upside. And if you compare this and this, you can tell that this looks like a pullback. So here, market looks like it is in a pullback. There is this trend that is being formed here. So if the market gives us that change of character, that will be a signal that for us to look for that selling opportunity, right? So be watching on Bitcoin what we'll be doing, either inside this demand zone, or if it closes below this area, then look for selling opportunity on Bitcoin. So moving on to the next pair, we have NAS 100. So NAS 100, from what we did on our previous top-down analysis video, so we had NAS 100 giving us this change of character. We picked our fib, we placed from the high to the low. We saw that this pair came to the premium, which is good. We traded to the premium zone. And from the lower time frame, it gave us a change of character after sweeping these relative equal highs. So what are we anticipating? We are anticipating for more sales around that area. Okay, so moving on to the 1 hour time frame. So since this was our 4-hour supply zone, we were expecting to see a change of character from the 15 minutes time frame. And that is exactly what happened. We had this break to the upside, then market gave us a change of character, came to react from this breaker block from the 1 hour. Because from the 1 hour, this is our demand zone. This was our demand zone that was supposed to hold the market and push it up, but it failed to hold. So it became a breaker block. So that was our entry. Sales at least targeting 1:3. So market, this is why I normally tell you guys, don't be greedy. If the market can give you 1:3, then you can take your partials. Either you take partials or you take a full TP at 1:3. Because now, guys, it looks, when the market came to give us a 1:3, decided to reverse back again. So it means if you are in this trade now, you are currently running into losses unless you had moved the stop loss to break even. Okay. So on our previous analysis, I told you guys I will be looking for selling opportunity once the market gets to this supply zone, this area. But since we had an NFP on Friday, so for me, I didn't look for any trade on Friday because of that NFP. And for me, I don't trade news. So I would rather stay away from the market when we have a high impact news coming up. Okay. So now currently, since we have closed above this supply from the 1 hour time frame, so it means the market has violated this supply. So I'm going to remove that. Then I saw that we still have another supply hub here with a very tiny fair value gap. Because for me, looking at the 1 hour time frame, this is the last break of structure. And since then, market never created any strong structure. So for me, this is just one leg from that high all the way to this low. All right. So we are seeing market coming currently sitting at the premium zone. So if the market will come to this supply and give me a confirmation, I will still take that selling opportunity from there. I will sell from there. So let me remove this fib. So for me, I'll be watching what the market will do inside this supply. So in terms of 15 minutes time frame. So I'm anticipating more buy to take out this I to give us a break to the upside. So in case now, this will be our structure that will be formed. If the market breaks here, react from this area, and maybe decides to sell from that area, then I will be waiting for this low to be taken out to give me a confirmation to look for any selling opportunity. All right. So, but if the market breaks that I, comes to this flip zone, pushes up again into this supply, then it means I will have a new break of structure. So what will I do? Well, anticipating for a market to come and take out this low to give us a change of character. And after that change of character, we'll wait for a pullback. We enter with the pullback and then we target that low. So for me, my bias is still bearish on US 100 or NAS 100. My bias is still bearish unless the market decides to break or violate this supply zone. Even if the market violate that supply zone, I still have this extreme supply zone around this area. I'll be waiting for a market to come to this area and see what the market will do around that area. Right. So I believe by Wednesday, the market will have given us a clear direction on which side it wants to go. So stay tuned. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe so that you get notified in case I upload a new video on Sunday. I'm very sure that I'll be making another video on Wednesday because the market would have given us a clear direction on those pairs that we have analyzed so far. Okay. So guys, that is it for today's top-down analysis. I don't know which pair you are watching. I don't know which pair you have bias on. So let me know on the comment section, and maybe which pairs do you want me to analyze next on our top-down analysis. Drop them on the comment section. So until next time, it's a bye-bye for now.